All of them?
Yeah.
Oh
like
my
5 of them.
God.
I
Yeah.
appreciate
Apparently,
I did that. Yes.
the judge said that Arcadia said that
Oh, that.
Angel was supposed to send them to me, and she never did. So I got them. I got a flood of them last night.
Wait. Wait. Hold on. You got. Wait. What happened?
Apparently, you gave Arcadia like a bunch of legislation and audit stuff.
Yeah.
Documents. Yeah. Apparently, she gave them to Angel, and Angel was supposed to send them to me, but Angel never did. So I got them last night.
Oh.
That's fucking wild, man. The city needs you, Hallow.
Yeah.
That's not my name. That's my brother's name.
Hallow. So the city.
Wait, that's your brother?
Hallow.
Yeah, Jerry Callow is my brother.
I thought you were talking about something else. Wait, so so that's what happened? Wait, so okay, so those are the audits, and could you just kind of go over what they are, just
legislative
because I'm like taken aback.
Marshals and Corrections Facility.
Mhm.
The audit amendment to the FOIA Act.
Yeah.
FOIA. The San Andreas DOJ audit, and
Yeah.
then the City Hall stuff.
Oh, good. Okay,
Like
easy.
The 10 things on the City Hall thing.
Yeah, we were gonna talk to you about the City Hall stuff. It's pretty straightforward, and I pretty much look. Pred and I have been unable to do anything as a consequence of this. I'm glad you're stepping up, and you know,
yeah, I'm totally doing this on my own free will.
Well, I mean, we could. I mean, how about this?
Is someone holding
we
a
could
gun to
sit
you?
down and we could hammer out a different way that things could be
Yeah.
done. You know what I mean? We could. I mean, if you're open to that, and if you know, if you don't want to, you know, I'm not saying you don't want to do the work, but if you don't favor doing the work, then we could just sit down and we could come up with a different system.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I don't mind the work. I just would prefer it come in smoothly instead of being piled all at once.
Yeah. Well,
it's a pain in the ass, especially when I got 5 pieces of legislation that ain't been looked at in 3 weeks either. You know.
Keep in mind, it may seem like it's all coming at you at once, but we've been doing this was over the course of like 2.5 weeks. So
I'll tell you what, because I don't want to do the work, all your stuff is accepted however you want it.
Wait, which part of it?
All of it.
Wait, including the contests?
No, I'm just fucking with you. I have to read through all these.
Okay. So in order to look, I'm going to be transparent here, right? After the SAG email came through, we had a brief conversation with Justice Angel, in which I recommended...
It didn't go well.
It didn't go well, but specifically, I recommended that, given that Pred and I were on a very simple, similar mental, that I would write up like a document that we could, as like a starting place, right? Here's our vision of it, so that you can see where we're coming from in advance of a meeting, right?
Do you want to write a document with your thought process on how things are going to change, or how you'd want things to change?
Yeah, like some of where the concern areas are, right? So we're walking to that meeting not starting from like ground zero. You can like pre-establish like, okay, these are the things that they're looking at. Here are their concern areas, as opposed to having like an 8-hour meeting.
Yeah, we were supposed to have a conversation with Angel, and when we said, okay, we'll talk about it, she said, yeah, but we'll talk about it on my terms.
Yeah. Which is...
That's what she said.
It didn't go very well.
That led to LOA. And that led to me saying, okay, then we'll just do it without you and give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to write it up and give your thought
already
process,
done.
You guys can send it to me, or we can just have a meeting so you guys can actually explain it in case I have questions.
I think we should do...
We'll do both. Yeah, I'll send you the thing today, and then I know that a representative was going to be around yesterday. He might be around today. I don't know if that's for sure, but I think we can meet in advance of that. Our main concern, too, was, right, we can't just decide it ourselves. Dr. Naya needs to sign off, too, right? The other 2 justices, in theory, need to sign off, too, unless you're going to be representing both of them. That's the lack of clarity that we had in that previous meeting. Like, how does that work? Are you going to represent all of them? Are they all supposed to show up?
So the way that anything works when it comes to justice agreements or anything that justice have to be involved in, we usually all have to have a conversation, and then we either agree or disagree. And then it can be like anonymous, 2 to 1, whatever. Like, you know, if 2 or 4 and 1 is against, then obviously it's going to get signed, or, you know, whatever. So it'll be brought up with the other justices, but that doesn't mean that every justice has to be here face to face, have a conversation.
See, that's the thing that worries me, and I'm not sure if I'm not going to speak for Nino, right? But the thing that worries me is like we haven't been able to really do anything for almost a month. You know what I like? Things have been. It's been a while, man, and it's wearing us both down pretty thin because it's not that we suffer. Me and Nino can tolerate suffering; we're used to it. But it's everybody else that's suffering. You know, like it's just it makes for a piss poor environment. You know, what we just want to do is we just want to be able to do our jobs, and we want to. You know, I'm not saying that you need to do that. We expect you guys to instantaneously do shit. That expectation is like completely, you know, not reality, right? I mean, as much as we would love that, we know that that's not possible. But it's like if things were just getting done in like a relative orderly fashion, and like, you know, we would get responses like at least every couple days after we, you know, did something, that would go a long way for us actually being able to do our jobs and get things done.
So in layman's term, this shit ain't fun. We need help.
I don't even think it's a fun thing, right? Because me and Pred can have plenty of that, but we have an entire populace that's dependent on us doing things for them,
and it turns into them blaming us because they don't know who else to blame.
I don't think I don't think that's a worry though, right, Pred? Like people can blame us all they want.
Tons of people hate my ass and they look for any excuse.
It's shitty to watch people not be able to get what they voted for, or be able to see the city move forward when it's sort of, you know, we post the shit on City Hall, and you know it's been 2.5 weeks. So this is the first time I'm hearing that you didn't even get to see these documents. Transparently,
I mean, they were sent to me directly. I could have missed them in like group emails or something, but as far as I'm aware, I haven't seen them.
Can I ask, unless it's the wrong question to ask, were these never available in some kind of like public? Wait, but how did you do you not get notifications for City Hall? This isn't me trying to find fault in you. I'm trying to find out, is there a better way we can do this shit? Because that's an issue.
Nobody gets notifications for anything on the government website unless they get tagged specifically. And even then, it's wishy-washy.
Can I tell you something that I think we should really sit down and do? I think that the current system, right, ain't really doing too good. And we just need to sit down and we need to come up with something new that works. Like can I give you an example of how I'd like to do things?
Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead.
The example I'd like to do things is a little more full throttle than what maybe Nino would want to do. But I would love to be able just to push my own legislation, and if people don't like it, they can challenge it. And if it's illegal and against the Constitution, then I can just be removed from office and jailed and shit. You know what I mean? Like honestly, I feel like that type of system and this type of city and an environment would actually like show people that we have more power. Because right now, people kind of look at Nino and myself and they just say, what's the point of even being mayor if you can't really do anything?
Isn't that how it already works, though? Like, aside from justices having to approve it to make sure it's legal?
That is,
I push for a legislation and then people can contest
it.
Yeah,
but I mean, me being able just to open my MDT and just put a legislation.
Oh, okay.
Just do it live. You know, fuck it, we'll do it live. And then if there's something wrong with it, then I mean, enough people want to see me fired and shit anyway, then they can just handle it.
That's overcooked. I feel like,
speaking, I kind of agree.
Yeah. Is there, do you think it'd be out of the realm of reason to get a response within 24 hours of something getting posted? If we were to send you say an email?
Yeah, if you send an email saying, hey, we're posting this, can you take a look at it? And then I'll be like, yeah, I'll get to it within 24 hours. And if I don't, just email me again.
Is that what you would prefer? Is for us to email you?
Like I said, I don't see when shit gets posted. That means I'd have to stare at the government website 24/7 to see when stuff gets posted on it, and I'm not doing that.
That's crazy. There's no way for you. See, that's news to us.
That's why I really wish that there was a mayor's office DOJ that could be like, hey, we're posting this. Can you guys take a look?
Wait, why don't you just add? Why don't you just add that? We have me and Pred. Wait, why?
I'm about the email chains, like the government email chains.
Yeah, we have to talk to the state. That was the thing I was talking to you about before, Nino.
Oh, that's a good idea. But what about on top of that? If you look at go to reports and then create report, right? right now there is a Los Santos County documents and probably a Blaine County. Oh, and there's a Blaine and Los
There's
Santos
Blaine
County.
and Los Santos County documents.
Yes. You guys can see that. Why don't we just start posting?
I don't see
Where
it.
is
That's
it?
not us. We don't see it.
No.
Why don't we create one that everyone can see?
So,
Because it's
Oh,
still,
shit, we got our
it doesn't
Marshal
have the
reports, Nino.
notification that I think Hallow's asking for.
no. So, here's what I'll do.
Sorry, Bandito. Give us a minute. I appreciate you, though. Thank you.
That's my brand new lawyer.
That's right. Type shit.
Because if we, because where I'm going with this, right, is if we had a thing that literally everybody in the city could see proposed Los Santos and Blaine County legislation in the MDT, then we can still send you the email, right? But then people in the city could see the legislation that we're working on, because it solves two problems.
I fear that a little bit because I don't, with work in progress legislation, it gets a little finicky because there's a constant like ongoing conversation and in development. I don't want people jumping guns just yet, thinking that anything's set in stone. We're supposed to be able to have a bit more of an open forum with this, or at least internally.
Okay.
The deal that I'm thinking is, remember how back in the day the city council was able to put up documents and people could look at them whenever on the MDT?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking something like that, where you and or both mayors will have access to that, and then they'll just put the Blaine County or Los Santos tag on it, and then they'll just say
a
proposed
pending
legislation.
tag would be great, right?
What?
A proposed tag, a pending tag.
Yeah, and
There's a way to
there's
make it very
there's a work in
visually
progress
obvious.
tag already.
We can't tag though. That's the thing.
Oh, you can't.
Oh, frick.
Actually, I
Yeah,
think
we
I
don't
can
have.
change
No,
that.
we
don't
can
have
tag.
access to
I
tag.
have
We
background
do.
access, so I can do it.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Under reports, there's just no tag
make a
that.
report real quick and see if you can make like a work in progress or like city council tag or something.
All right. Under which category? Because I'm doing this
I
under
don't
Blaine
care,
and
just-
Los Santos
Just
County.
see if you can put a tag on it.
Yeah, I do have access to the
What
tags.
tags do
All
you
of
have
them.
access to? All of them? Put
Yep.
like Blaine County and then work in progress. It should be like WIP or something. Now, can everybody see the Blaine County, or is that just you guys? Like the Blaine County and Los Santos document thing.
You can see it.
No.
Okay, so that's not a public one.
No.
So you
I
guys,
just, I just made one.
but the mayor's offices can use that to work on it together, and then whenever they're ready, they can upgrade it to a separate kind of report that allows the public to see it.
If there is a workflow that allows for that, I don't know if one exists.
How do you mean?
So like, could you step us through it? So we got this one right called testing.
So I can't see that one, so that's gonna be on
Man,
you
I'm
guys.
not used to working with someone that ain't kind of trying to perpetually fuck me over
Oh
in
my
every
God.
aspect of my goddamn life.
Well, Pred, you've known me for about 6 years now, back when I was a DA.
Even
That's why
longer.
You worked with Jenny.
Technically 12 years.
Probably longer than that. So you know that even if I don't like somebody, I always try to make sure their life is
You worked
easier
with
to
Jenny
deal with
once,
on a
she
daily
didn't try
basis.
fucking ever.
It's not that I
Yep,
don't
and
like you, I'm
I'll
just
work
saying
with
in general,
anybody as long as they just give me the bare minimum respect that I feel is necessary to have a conversation.
Yeah, I just hate when people feel disrespected for no reason. So I can't see the Los Santos County, Blaine County documents thing. That's on you guys.
Mm-hmm.
But what you would do is you guys would like write something up in there. So like, let's say you're making a legislation for fucking making jaywalk legal again. So what you would do is you'd write it there. Whenever you get done discussing it and everything, you're like, okay, we're ready to push this. You would then look at the top right. There's a little arrow drop down that's like where it says like the type of report it is. And you should be able to click it and then tap it with your finger and then change it. And then you can upgrade.
I
the type of
like
report so that way
that.
it goes public. And then whenever you see it, like people can see, they won't be able to see the edit history, but you can leave like notes like last amended on blank, and then we can make like I can make a tag that says like awaiting judicial approval or something for the time being until the process gets reworked or whatever.
I think that's a great idea.
And then go from there. But the
I
problem,
mean, the other way, you could, if you've got the ability to share those reports, you could share them with the state IDs of each of the justices, so it's
That
in
is
there,
true,
you
too.
know, shared with thing.
you can also
So
share.
it-
I mean,
Yeah.
and that's easy information for us to have access to too, because we have MDT. So that's like what we could do is like on the spot we can come up with a process, because I think and once again, I won't speak for Nino. I'll speak for myself, but I'm sure Nino will agree. I would prefer for us to do everything and keep it in the MDT and in the city. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Rather than utilizing government website.
I could have swore everything was supposed to be in the MDT. I don't know what happened.
We don't know either. Most of the conversation ends up on City Hall, which has some benefits to it. Like, you know, like let's say you're like, hey, this is not constitutional, let's say, right? That can be in there. It's also the forum is used for if someone wants to contest it, the reasoning goes in there. So there is, I do have understanding why it's there, but I don't see, nothing prevents us from using like, you know, the fucking, like drawing a line and saying update under this and keeping the notes in the MDT, you know?
We could talk to the
way that. Go ahead.
I was thinking maybe if the only option we would have, because we still have to have it open and accessible for the public. I think that is why it's left to the state's website. We could have it, maybe talk to the clerks about keeping it updated so we have at least on both forms.
We still have those?
I think
Yeah.
One
The one
clerk that's
standing
like
right next to
halfway
you.
active.
Well, we hire some more then. I'm
He's a
sure we can
judge.
find some.
Sorry, there's
I'm
somebody
a
looks
judge.
just like you. That's a clerk.
And we
sorry.
can do it too. We can also do a bit more.
I mean, that also requires for somebody to be around 24/7, and that's just not realistic.
I'm not saying that either, but I'm saying if we like spread the weight around, it doesn't have
Yeah,
to
I
be the
get
same
you.
person doing it all.
I'm just trying to think of a way to, like, because like she said, the government website is used for anybody can go in there and say we're wanting to contest this. You can't really do that on the MDT.
Exactly.
And that's kind of the problem. But somebody could also, we could say
But
like,
you
if
can
you
get
want
it
to
to the
contest it,
point
put it on
where
the
it's
docket.
good to go to like public discernment, right? Like,
I mean, what
it's
you
got
could
to
also
get to that point first, right?
I'm trying to, like, the way that I'm thinking is like way more work for the mayor's office, but like put all the documents and stuff you want in the MDT and be like, hey, this is everything we want to do with this legislation. It's like all the stuff you'd put in the city hall post, you'd put in the the MDT, and then you'd go on the city hall and be like, you know, you go on the
It's
city hall
posted.
website,
Yeah.
yeah, just be like, it's posted,
Yes.
reference report,
Agreed.
blank on the MDT, and whenever you want, and then anybody can look it up.
I think that's a great solution.
And it's manageable
And then-
for our
and then
side and
people-
yours.
Yep, and then people can also post on it, say they're contesting it.
Yeah.
If you guys want to do that.
I'm going to
as-
send you the document real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Which ones? Because I already have them itemized.
It's the one, it's the proposal for, so the original audit was for the process one for all legislation.
I've sent those both to Hal. It's the one that the one that's like 2-for-1 and the one for the FOIAs.
Well, we put together a document over the course of 3 days about what we think that legislation should turn into. Let me just send you a copy real quick. And Hallow, feel free to share it around.
This conversation is just making me realize how much of this process was completely fucked up by Angel, and I'm just going to say it because it's
Let's
factually
stay
the
on
fucking
track,
truth.
Fred, please.
Yes, ma'am.
I just don't want us to go into a shit talking. I think we're actually being very productive right now.
Yeah.
We get another judge, right? Can we make a wish on a dragon?
We're not Dragon Balls.
Okay, just give me. Hallow, could you send me an email real quick just to make my life easy as I scroll through these? Backup copy. Term to updates. Okay, I think I found it. Okay. Mind you, this has been reviewed by my office, Dr. Naya, as well as the ex-justice. There's a lot of thought put into it. It's going to have the main document and then a separate document with a series of like expanded on points.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. Think of it like an appendix. So if you needed more
Taking a
references,
shit or
it's
is he
there.
going to come? I can't
Probably a
tell.
little bit of both.
I'm gonna have a coronary.
All right. Do you see that? And then I'm going to send it to you too, Brett.
So the appendix doesn't burst.
I think what we should just do is we should put a cooperating office together between us that can make sure all this stuff is like handled.
That's probably fairly necessary. The
I
chain
think it'll
communication's
just
been kinda
streamline
crap
everything for
Volunteering?
you guys. Yeah, you guys hire like your secretaries. We'll have like our offices, and then it's like there's no like the information. We'll get
complicating the process out in the middle, man.
I'd
I
rather
don't
do
think
it.
it's
I'd
getting it's
rather
giving
be one
people
of
jobs
us.
because people need jobs.
Well,
Like, if you, like,
I
if
would
you wanna
rather be like a
volunteer, I'm here.
liaison.
I
Yeah,
don't
I would
care.
volunteer for that job. 100%.
Okay, that's fine. We can do it however you guys want. It was just an idea. I'll do whatever the group decides that's best. We can do, and then if it doesn't work, then we just change it. You know what I mean? I mean,
let me throw something else on the table. Is that I think we should be collectively meeting every 2 weeks, anyways, so that we can see what's working across the government, the different areas of government, and see if there's better ways we can improve the system, both in terms of
1 week, but 2
communication,
weeks ain't bad
transparency, etc.
At minimum 2 weeks, but I agree. I still no issue with a weekly meeting.
Because like some of this stuff that Arcadia is bringing up, etc., all of this like makes sense. But if we can't even get together for like we even spoke about it an hour every so often, I think a lot of good could come out of that.
I mean, a lot of goods is coming out of this gathering right now, and we've never had one before.
Guys, what if we just had a city council? Kind of crazy.
No.
Weird idea.
No.
I don't think people would. I don't think people would be a huge fan of it.
The problem with the city council was it was not representative of a democracy, and these are effectively democratically elected positions, and it's about interoperability, which isn't a council, but it's listen, if people have a problem with the actual word and can't differentiate the difference, in the words of this one like Indian guy from 1980, democracy is great, but people are, and then I'm not going to fill in that last word. It's a really good YouTube
Retarded.
clip. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Well.
You deserve that. You absolutely fucking deserve that.
That's done.
Yeah. Well.
That's good timing.
Are you able to get up?
Yep.
What you need, Brad? You hungry? You thirsty?
That timing was good.
Oh.
He did actual work. He's all
Slip
tuckered
that
out,
into his
guys.
pocket.
I'm kidding.
The
That was a
fucking
joke.
cipher somewhere, dude. Jesus. Goes into his pocket.
Where the
That was good
Oh
timing.
my god, dude, my shit is so slow right now. I'm like trying to click on the
Does
fucking.
anyone else need food before you perish?
If you have a snack, I'll take one.
I swear, nobody in the city eats.
Get busy.
FOIA legislation.
How about
Thank you.
this? Oh, hang on.
There it is.
Ugh. Hey, I really know how to talk about myself, huh?
You guys mind if I come over?
Is there something we can help with? We're just in the middle of a conversation.
No, you good.
Okay, sorry.
If you guys are busy, that's fine.
Yeah,
You
sorry.
had an idea, Justice?
It's bad for them to have money.
You were just about to elucidate?
I think he.
Larry, don't tell me we lost you again. Larry,
Oh, God.
Larry. Earth to Larry. Earth to Larry.
There's
Larry.
icicles in his head. It's an issue.
Sorry, I had to think
We
about
just
setting
got you
up Amazon on a smart TV. Moving panes, they're wonderful.
I gave you the wrong shit, by the way. Give me a sec.
Okay. Here's my idea. Fuck, I'm so gonna regret this.
Oh, here we go.
Why don't at this meeting every 2 weeks? Why don't or like every week or whatever? Why don't that be the day that when we get together, you guys bring up legislation you want to talk about, and then I'll decide, or like a
Easy.
justice or judge will decide right then and there if it's legal or not, and then we'll put it up on the contest phase.
I think that would slow. I think the meeting is good. I think reviewing some of it, but if we're meeting every 2 weeks, this city moves on a daily basis, And while court systems understandably can take weeks, etc., I think the flow and momentum needed for success in increasing emigration to San Andreas cannot wait that long.
I think a both kind of avenue method. Bring us stuff if it's coming to the meeting anyways, and then we keep doing what we're doing, and then we will, if we miss something at the meeting, please just remind us.
I like that idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I think looking at the Hydra case and my court case, like I know like it's a difficult ask, but the wind's out of the sails for like both of those cases. Like the public just doesn't really give a fuck anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't know why. It's kind of amazing how long things are taking with those. I want to get yours done by this weekend, but apparently it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same with the scheduling, but I literally have the main witnesses missing for the next week.
I mean, it's more frustrating that like when EU cops are dealing with people from like AU or vice versa, or like NA and AU or whatever.
I think if someone is willing to press big charges on someone, then they make themselves available or they don't do it.
Yeah, and then it's like people have lives outside the city and other
it doesn't matter because they've now
like they can't be available till the weekend and other dumb shit.
No, I mean,
it's just like
none of that should matter. At the end of the day, if Pred or I need to be in the city for something for mayoral duties, if you have to be in the city or judicial duties, it's the same thing. If someone is taking on a big fucking case, then make themselves available or suck a dick. One of the two.
I mean, like,
so here's the thing, right? I understand what the justice is saying, right? People like do have lives, but there comes like a certain like level of responsibility that one must bear for taking on something major. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I feel like an asshole saying it, but it's just the truth. Like the responsibility is on that individual then at that point to be available when needed. Otherwise, you shouldn't take it. Like if you can't be available, then you shouldn't be the one doing it.
I generally don't work weekends, and I've worked both weekends the past 2 weeks to get this case done because this case needed me to work weekends.
So you understand.
Is this second one the one I'm supposed to be looking at?
Correct.
Okay, there's like a bunch of edits and highlights here. Am I supposed to be seeing all this?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
I think it's more so just about a respect of everybody's time. Like if you're gonna take the time to put a case on somebody like that, I think you should respect everybody's time to be able to follow through with it.
Yeah, it's kind of like you feel like a dick saying it, but it's like if you're going to handle a big affair, then you need to make sure you can handle it in its entirety in the manner and speed and pace that it needs to go at in order for like everything to happen. Because look at the Hydra case, right? I won't use myself as an example. The Hydra case is massive, right? But the wind is completely out of the sails. The people involved are, they feel a certain way about it. The public doesn't give as much of a fuck anymore. Like it's kind of just like how it is, and it's because it's taken so long.
If I may, but that's not no fault of Judge Grayson. It's unfortunately coming down to the fact of all the other players and the scheduling, and we just don't know how to hold them accountable.
What you just
when it comes, so I actually have a major suggestion, right? Like, because I don't hold you in any fault at all there, Judge Grayson. You're doing your best with like what you got, right? But maybe when it comes to depositions, they should just be handled in like a different environment, like not like a big court case, but like a deposition's like, hey, we meet in a room, we do it, and we get it done. Type thing.
That was literally the plan.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Then I had 50. I got about 10 phone calls that day from people being like, I want an open call so we can see it. If there's a mass demand from the public for it to be seen and visible, I'm going to give them that, right? But it had already been scheduled.
It's good showmanship.
Yeah, so here's my thing, right? I'm available Monday to Friday every week. I then gave up my weekends purely for these depositions. But the major issue was it's a 15 witness court case. Like, we're not built for that anymore.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks seeing that. I mean, we used to have court cases where we'd have tons of witnesses all the time and stuff like that, and then they would run. I mean, me and you have been a part of court. I mean, a lot of people standing here have been a part of court cases that have ran 5+ hours, and that's
on depositions alone, I've done 6 hours already on this before the case. So we're probably going to have a 4-hour court case, and it's going to be a 10-hour case in total, right? And that's how much evidence I've got to dig through at the end of it. That's just what this case was. it's just a shit show that some people are like then unavailable for like multiple weeks at a time, which makes scheduling it a nightmare.
I mean that becomes like I kind of feel like that's sort of where some of where Pred and I should be coming into play and questioning. Let me dial it back. It comes down to due process, right? And I think one should question, is a individual, regardless of how guilty it may seem, is due process being followed at the pacing of San Andreas? I would argue it's not. Is that my expectation, at least of the LSPD, and I'm quite frankly rather disappointed that they have taken on a case that has resulted in this kind of scheduling nightmare, and they are squarely at fault. I don't give a fuck if someone wants to go jerk off on vacation somewhere. You pass it on to somebody. If you can't do that, you're now entering into the violation of rights territory. So
when I first called the pretrial, I called it specifically hoping that these individuals would, you know, break some of these witness testimonies down into affidavits, right? Just like I've lowered my voice so other people can't hear me.
Yeah.
So I wanted specifically for some of these people to just get some sworn statements in, right? Rather than having to depose 15 people. The issue with people then going missing and not providing those kind of statements is it's abhorrent. I don't like it, but what the fuck else are we meant to do, right? We just push forward the way we can. I don't understand. I'm going to be real. I don't understand why this all fell on the chief of police to prosecute this case. I don't get it.
Straight up asked her the same question. I think it's inherently embarrassing for everybody involved because let me take an even further step back. I understand that after they've gone through a lot of restructures, right? A lot of talent that's necessary for a successful police department doesn't currently exist. Investigators, those who've written a shitload of raid warrants, et cetera, et cetera. Boss is one of the few that has that kind of background, right? But the question I think that needs to be asked at a government level is it better to invest in getting smaller things right? Or do you go for the big things, have a absolute disaster, and then figure everything out after the fact?
If you don't have the foundations, you're never going to succeed at the big shit.
Exactly. Agreed.
Yeah, it's a lot of pieces missing from the puzzle.
Indubitably.
But then it's like, how do you change the system to accommodate that? You know what I mean? Do you have to, or is it on them solely then? Because I feel like, I'm just going to be honest, I feel like it's on them. But then again, it is also on us to make the system better and like more, you know, receptive.
They make the right noises. Like, I know they're currently putting together training for legal work matters and stuff. And I've offered
Brother, the people training them over there are just as dumb as the people they're training.
But it's not just that, right? It's like, here's the thing. I've offered to help. I've offered to go help and teach. But like, when? They've been talking about this for months.
So my observation...
Tomorrow, I'll be there tomorrow. Like, that's all we need.
Why did we do away with the DA's office again?
Oh, please don't bring up DA's office.
Crumbles a little bit. It always kind of shatters because the district attorney like oversteps their like their prerogative.
It's 2 points, right? The DA
like
himself or herself becomes a political entity that.
Well, can I tell you what happened? So when I was an officer, like, and this was before I was sheriff, like a little bit before I was sheriff.
Are you gonna tell me how Hallow fucked up? I'm here to listen.
No, it wasn't
DA's
Hallow.
after me, asshole.
No, she was a female DA, right? And I put together a huge investigative thing into corrupt cops about like leveraging the budget or trying to get people to give them money and it not being like, you know, legal for them to like extort like other officers. And I put together a huge investigation. And I went to the district attorney's office is like, okay, we'll handle this. And what it turned into was a district attorney giving me like barely any of the subpoenas, like 5% of like what I subpoenaed. And then them like kind of pigeonholing the entire investigation for themselves, for their purview, and Xing me out and then doing nothing with all the information I gathered. Like, and that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. like I spent weeks building up this whole thing, right? And then the district attorney, the leader of it, like the actual DA, not the office, but the actual DA, took everything from me and then did nothing with it.
Jesus.
Yeah, and that's not, I'm not exaggerating. That's literally what happened.
I want to.
So that's the first part of the issue. The first part of the issue is they become a political actor, right? They always do.
Yes.
But then the second part is the office, and I've worked in district attorney offices. The workload is so insurmountable for them that they just get like ridden until they fall over and then they'll get them back up. The grind out of that office is always hell.
And if I may, just kind of piggyback off of that one, this should be entirely coming back to PD. They need to have the insight. They need to have the forethought to actually be able to prosecute on a bare bones level. They can't fall back on the thought of having a DA covering their ass. They need to be able to do this.
It also hurts
this is
them
part of their job.
It also hurts them. And my bad for interrupting you. My bad.
No,
I got
you're
a bad
fine.
habit of that. It's the officers don't know their own processes for doing things. Like you know what I would have done in this situation? I would have locked down the property. I would have had officers watching it, and I would have been trying to put something to put together what I needed in order to fucking get inside that property if I could. And then if I couldn't, I just unlock it down. And then, they probably sue me a little bit for that, which is fine. Like, you kind of have to accept that sometimes you're going to lose, but then sometimes you are going to win. Like, you're going to try your best. Sometimes you're not going to be able to get the goal you want. But a lot of these people seem, can I tell you something? A lot of these people seem dumb as fuck, but they're so goal-oriented at the end of the day that they don't give a fuck about if they destroy themselves or the other people involved. And they do it anyway, and then no one's there to stop them or show them the proper process of shit. It's because they don't care about anything other than getting what they want. It's not about justice. It's not about the law.
It's the excitement of the raid.
Exactly.
Objectively, that's just not a now thing. It's always been that way.
Okay,
You've seen it, Barrick. You've been with me a long time. You saw how stuff works.
I'm gonna give a hot take that probably isn't gonna resonate with a lot of people. Everybody that is, and I'm just gonna be perfectly candid. Everybody that is bitching and moaning about people don't know how to do X and Z and Y and W and 19 and 42 are the people who take the time to actually sit down and read through legislation and the laws and to have these conversations and to talk with people. Your everyday cop isn't going to know shit. They barely know how to patrol because, let's face it, the cops who patrol don't know how to patrol, so they shouldn't be teaching people how to patrol. At the end of the day, it's kind of like the entirety of the justice system and the PD in general is kind of a joke, in all honesty.
Not wrong.
Realistically speaking, nobody is taking the training seriously on a lawyer level. Nobody's taking the training seriously on a PD level. Nobody's training, and that's defense lawyers, prosecutors, whatever. Your everyday patrol cop is not going to know how to prosecute a case. That's why I'm an advocate for the DA's office, because there are people who go out of their way to specifically say, I want to prosecute cases. There's cops who are good prosecutors, don't get me wrong, but that's because they take the time to actually sit there and listen and try to learn what to do in certain situations. And then you have people like, John Doe, random name, not the cop that died.
Rip John Doe.
John Doe was actually a good lawyer.
Like John Doe.
He is actually a good lawyer. But yeah, people like, or like John Smith, for example, who like goes in and he says, I just want to go to bank robberies and catch criminals. And then they're being told, no, you need to go sit in court. You need to prosecute your case or go to bench trial or whatever.
That's
and then
part of the job, though. No, that should be the expectation.
But the problem is that people aren't. That's not being. The expectation isn't being explained.
Why not?
That's not. That's a PD question, not a me question.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It needs to be said to PD. It needs to be explained to them, because we can't function properly if they're not meeting at least that bare bone minimum. That is a minimum.
Probably wouldn't understand it if you told that to them.
If I may, I think I have. I'm gonna tell you what I observed of last. Hello.
I heard it knocked too.
Oh, that's my vape against my against my thigh.
Give it what thigh?
It's a vape. Yeah, I got like a little thing over here. There is a disease in the PD, and I can understand it to a degree. It's a similar disease that criminal organizations have, which is excitement, adrenaline, etc. And when that is the heart of what makes you tick 9 out of 10 times in the day, things that you need to be doing, whether it's fucking planning a job or whether it's planning a fucking investigation. That's the boring shit, right? Even though it's necessary.
That's the part I like.
Now, holding people accountable, whether you're like a fucking mob boss saying, why are you fucking running in with no masks in? Or whether you're like a sheriff, chief of police and telling people, well, you can't just like bust into someone's place and not have a plan around it. How are you going to get a conviction? Those things are very hard to train into those when everyone's hopped up on that adrenaline juice. There's a second problem at play. It is expectation. Every time I've spoken to officers about, hey, I as the mayor do not mind if certain crimes are not getting accounted for. That's a natural expectation. There's probably 100 crimes that take place. They're only going to be able to go to 25% of them, right? You have to accept it. It happens in all over U.S. Cities as well. Shit happens. You can't get to it all. However, what you can do is make sure that what you're going to is handled to the best of the ability. But there is no power that is affirming to these departments that slowing it down is not only okay, but is expected.
I mean, that's
you get what I'm saying?
That's what the judiciary is here for. The judiciary here is to hold that fucking line, find our standard, and then don't feel sorry for them when they're just failing. If
I
they
agree.
come in here
But-
and they can't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, they walk out with an L. That's the way this works.
But you know they're not going to see that L and learn from it.
That's what I'm saying. I was also going to say that it's disheartening. It's not encouraging. There has to be a different kind of avenue, whether it be any kind of form of education or part of their training, part of academy, PPO cadet phase.
And then it's going to turn into the whole, this judge doesn't know what they're doing. This justice doesn't know what they're talking about. Why would they think that this is the way? Blah, blah, blah.
Anybody wants to talk to me about that? I'll go word for word with them.
I mean, I've had conversations, but to add on to what I was saying earlier, the problem is that because nobody is educated in this kind of stuff, and I'll admit there's even a lot of things that I don't understand. There's too much shit in law and the Justice Department, the justice field, to expect everybody to understand everything. It's actually impossible. It's been proven that it is impossible to know every single thing about law. Maybe in our city it might be, but in general, it's impossible. So the fact that we're expecting people to understand all of this legal jargon that we're throwing at them through legislation or through laws or whatever, this shit needs to be I don't know who it was that mentioned how to conduct a search warrant or how to put somebody's house on hold or whatever. That shit's literally got to be written for a 5-year-old if we want the entire city to understand how it works.
I mean, that's what SOPs are for, no?
If that's the first stepping stone, yeah.
So what's important is leadership. To see, this is what the leadership in the PD is supposed to do. You're supposed to be able to go to your sergeant, right? I need help with this. I'm not sure exactly what to do. And the sergeants are supposed to trickle down this information. All right, so you saw X happen, right? You saw someone run into a house. All right, perfect. You saw someone run into a house. All right, maybe we can't lock it down and raid it right now, but we sure as shit can get an investigative warrant signed off, right? We can monitor the property. We can monitor the people. We can start cataloging information, seeing shit that we see, and then go from there. And then maybe you accrue enough evidence that way to lock down the apartment. I mean, to lock down the building. And then from there, you try and write your warrant after you've done the investigative work. You see, they just keep skipping the steps. I think that
you also,
what's that?
With all due respect, kind of rose-tinted glasses a little bit. So think of it this way, okay? Years ago, in terms of the PD, it was if it was like a college athletics team or something like that, everybody playing were all seniors, okay? And maybe a couple juniors. Fast forward to the next year, which is where we are now, relatively.
Everybody
all
graduated
the
and
seniors have moved on,
shit.
they're doing something else. And there's a few juniors still playing who are now seniors, but everybody else is like a fucking freshman. You have
That's actually a really good way of putting that, actually.
Yeah.
I actually like that. That's a really good way of putting that.
Barrett,
mentor everybody.
Wait, let him finish. Let him finish.
Going forward. So you're basically just, there is no other way around it. You are fucked.
I mean, Barrett, you knew what it was like to be in the PBSO because there was tons of leadership that you could go to about anything, and they were around the clock.
Yeah, which is exactly why
we had the right people doing the shit.
Yeah,
doesn't seem like the right people are doing the shit.
All those people knew what they were doing, but all those people are gone. All of them. All of them, Pred. Every single one.
Yeah, it's sad.
But the Bills have till Jordan left.
I mean, but it go.
And it's an
Yeah, 100%.
ever evolving and circling problem, because you can institute, or the PD can institute even more training and stuff like that, and then that's just going to dissuade more people from wanting to be cops, and then
You
it's
will
just going
find
to be a
the
continuous
nerds.
thing over and over again.
We find
the
the
point
nerds.
is,
I don't know if I agree
Wait,
with that. I feel
Guys,
like that's
please.
a failed
Please let
position.
me finish my point.
Sorry, Bert. Go ahead.
The point is, we are not in the same place, and you can. And I'm just going to be 100% honest. You cannot expect the same of people that we did years ago. You can't, because it will never come back. It won't come back, and you can't expect it to. So we need to find a way to change with the times and adapt to how people are now.
That's
instead of
such a
looking back
failed
and hoping that
mentality.
this same level of, intelligence comes out of every single fucking person that walks the earth, because it's not returning. And you can say, teach the new ones. Who's going to fucking teach them? Because they don't even know.
I take a look at my cabinet today, of which there are 8. And I didn't know who the fuck they were when I brought them in. And each one of them, including Tilly, has now written a piece of legislation. And if you've ever met Tilly before, it's not exactly someone you would expect to write something up. Now, the reason I use that as an example is I think if you look at the past and say, we will never reach that, that is such a I give up mentality, in my opinion. Now, I don't want to impose that on you,
Barrick, he
Barrick,
gave you the
but
same
rather
grace that-
this is
let him finish.
This is like how I would view that, but instead come from the position of that these individuals should be empowered to say, slow your roll. Don't worry too much about these big fucking cases and start getting the small things right, so that when you do get pushed something like a gang-related shooting charge, you're not just like fucking throwing it out there and saying, you know what, I'm assuming X, Y, and Z. Is that you fucking take your time with it, make sure it fucking sticks. And make sure your police force has that bare minimum understanding of how to win something like that in court individually. And I think there's plenty of capable people in both the departments that can reach that. And then bring it up a notch. And then bring it up a notch. Instead of reaching for the stars. And then eventually, if you follow that process for enough time, I think you can have a PD like of that in the past. Because those people weren't just born out of nowhere either, right?
I just honestly, I just disagree with the entropy idea that things are just going to get worse. I think they can get better. I think we can have a PD that's better than it used to be. And I think you look at the DOJ, right? Look at us right now. Look at this group stood right here, right? To my left, we've got Arcadia, we've got Murray. To my right, I've got Sean. All these people are brand fucking new in the scheme of, how long, say, me, Nino, Kyle, Larry have been around you, right? Like there's talent out there. You've just got to find it and cultivate it.
If I may, I'm going to be honest. I fear this may turn into a mayoral cabinet and DOJ pointing fingers at PD and not giving them the opportunity to speak for themselves. Or maybe at the next time we have a meeting where it's us, we might invite high command and try and have a bigger conversation. But I'm worried we might be getting a little down a rabbit hole at the moment.
I agree. I don't know why we started talking about PD, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I'm like, well, how did we get
I
here?
probably put it out wrong as opposed to what I'm actually thinking, but I don't know. I'm trying to find
I can see.
Barrick, if it sounded like I was putting your opinion down, that's my apologies.
No, and I don't want anybody to think like what I'm saying is essentially saying that it's like impossible or something like that. I'm saying is like, this is something I had to come to grips with as well when I just like realized that it was the standard of like, the PDs of old that we wanted to like get to, like it just, at least in the relative time frame, it was not reachable, because you're essentially expecting going back to like the kind of analogy that I gave, you're expecting all these freshmen to essentially, within a distinguishable amount of time, start acting as seniors or start playing as seniors. When that's just not going to happen.
To Hallow's point, though, even if the subpoenas, even if the search warrants need to be written by 5th graders with crayon right now, I will take them. Yeah, Hallow.
Yeah, but then
it starts somewhere.
Yeah,
and then we help and we foster and we develop.
Well, do you know what the main issue is? It's being too results oriented and not trying to really do things to the best of their ability and in the best way possible. Like,
there's a Yoda quote for this.
What's the Yoda quote?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Please, Hallow.
Something about failure being the best teacher or something like that.
So again, I'm going to put a pin on this. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I can understand everyone's perspective, and we have very passionate views on this one because it affects all of us. However,
I don't think I'm going to go have time to change.
To speak for themselves, that we're going to be this engrossed in it. Also, I don't know how far off are we from Hallow's case and Kyle's case.
10 minutes. 10 minutes. Just to kind of circle back, Hallow, the document, the latest one I sent you in Pred is the viewable one. The one that says revised expands on everything, and I'd asked for it to get condensed down. The TLDR of it, you'll see this, is the audit is primarily based on the notion that there was a legislative update to the process that marked the DOJ as an uncontested authority, which is unconstitutionally false, or is false based on the Constitution. And what we are recommending here, as in light of the Constitution, is the DOJ is responsible for their area, right? The judicial aspects of legislation, right? And that just as the counties and the medical staff is able to propose alterations and new legislation, that stuff needs to be scrutinized just as the rest of us. So that, for example, you wake up one day and you're like, you know what? Fuck Nino, he's not going to get his FOIAs. I'm going to go change the whole process overnight. You wouldn't be able to do that anymore. And it lays out the
hey, that's what happened.
Wait, really?
No.
Bro.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else that's really pressing right now, or can we give Hallow and Pred the chance to have a 10-minute break before their case?
Yeah, I gotta go change.
Hallow, if you can come back with a date that we can discuss this, like tomorrow, maybe the day after, maybe that'd be good.
What's today?
Saturday.
The 23rd.
Saturday.
23rd.
What the hell is that, Pred?
Pred, what's the latest you can be around?
Here, so I know that you're kind of a degen now, right?
I wake up at 8 a.m. every day, so.
I don't know. I got a notification last night at 11 p.m. So I mean,
yeah, because every motherfucker wants to do their shit at like 10 p.m. and I'm like, that's past my bedtime, and they keep complaining. So,
well, my availability is best between 9 a.m. CST and 5 p.m. CST as well. But if I have to make myself available, even though I will bitch, complain, and moan, and you will definitely hear about it, I will still be there.
What time is it now?
Right now it is 3:53 p.m. CST.
Okay, so you're an hour behind EST. Okay.
What about tomorrow at this time?
I was trying to think if I have anything going on tomorrow. I don't think I do. Yeah, we can. Yeah, I should be good for tomorrow. Let's do tomorrow at like 4.
Okay. Oh yeah.
EST.
And the more people that come, the better. I mean, we should invite high command. We should invite the judges.
Let them know. I know it's last minute, so if they want, we'll.
This
many people can be available as possible
for the legislative process. Bringing high command. I think we should only bring the parties that can actually sign on this.
Well, I think we should try talking about the FOIA process too. At this point, we should try and 2-for-1 this shit.
So,
what you think?
Here's the deal:
the other 2 audits.
All high command are going to be invited. The mayors, obviously, and then anybody from the DOJ, from Judge and Justice.
You probably want the director of Sama too, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah. Anybody from an elected position will be allowed to go.
Why is high command coming to this?
Because if we're going to discuss FOIA legislation,
Oh,
then they're
okay.
gonna be
So
a
you
part
are
of it.
down with that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, if we're going to
Love
be
it.
discussing everything you sent me, then they should be aware of what's going to be changing.
Okay.
Instead of getting a random backhand new legislation, they have to figure out how to go around it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
we need to figure out like how it is they would like to see things done, because our ideas might not line up with them, and then maybe we can find a middle ground and actually get something done anyway. It'll be super beneficial, I think.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If I'm gonna be a part of this stuff, I'm not doing this bullshit about like it's my way or the highway. There's gonna be compromises made so we can actually get changes done.
I don't think me and Pred have.
I'm saying from anybody, not just you guys.
Good shit.
Changes are gonna get made. If people want to change, they're gonna get made. We're not gonna sit here and then go around in circles and nothing's gonna happen. So,
gotcha. Because we've been doing that for the last month.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been a very productive meeting. You guys have 5 minutes.
Okay.
Hey, I'm gonna go change because I don't think you want to see me in the courtroom like this. So
I'm gonna go think about water in my corner.
All right.
He has something they wanted to bring to
hey,
us real quick.
Tony.
Holy shit.
I'll be back. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I gotta go change. I don't really think this is appropriate attire.
I'm gonna go get food real quick.
Yeah, it is. I'll be right back.
Yeah, looking good.
Thank you. Oh my, Nino.
Hey.
Nino, we're actually making progress.
That was
more progress in
more
the last hour
Oh
than
my
last
god.
month.
I'm actually fucking surprised that the documents were never given to the rest of the justices.
But yeah, are you surprised?
Like,
though?
what
Like,
the
I'm not.
fuck? I mean,
I'm not surprised by that.
I guess like part of me still assumes that others have some level of common decency, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Need
listen,
food.
man, at the end of the day, no matter what people do to us, we're the bad guys, and they can get away with doing whatever they want.
Yeah. Hey, do you have food? You have food?
No, I don't.
God damn it. All right.
I gotta change.
Yep.